Good afternoon and welcome to the fourth and final debate for this year's East Chapel Hill High School Student Government election. Today's debate is between two candidates running for president, Eleanor Murray and Sept. Each candidate will begin with a 1-minute opening statement. After that, we will move on to questions. All candidates will be asked the same questions, each with 45 seconds to answer. After both candidates are done giving their responses, each candidate has an opportunity for one 30-second rebuttal. At the end, each candidate will have 1 minute for closing statements. We ask that the audience stay silent for the duration of the debate, which includes clapping and cheering. And without further ado, we're going to get started with opening statements.
Hello everyone, my name is Eleanor Murray. I'm currently a junior at East Chapel High School, and as I hope you've noticed, I'm running for student government president. The moment that I stepped into East as a freshman, I knew immediately that I wanted to be in student government. And I've kept that up for the past 3 years. Whether it was making posters, planning Wildcat Wednesdays, bringing puppies to East, or planning for Dance Marathon, and doing a kind of okay lip sync at the most recent one. Over the years, I've just had so much fun being in student government, and it would mean the world to me if I could spend the next year as your president. Now, I've stayed committed to my promise as being in student government, and I hope you, while you're watching the debate today, that you realize that the ideas that we both have are always focused on you guys and how they can make an impact on your lives. So today during the debate, I want you to reevaluate the ideas that you're hearing and just get rid of any personal biases and just truly see whose ideas are going to make the biggest impact on your life at East. And I hope that you enjoyed the debate today. Thank you so much for coming out and have a great time. Thank you.
Alright, so hey everyone, I'm Sept. I'm running for student body president, as you guys know. It's great to see so many people here showing support for this school, support for this election. So my campaign team and I have talked with a number of you. We sent out surveys, so we want to find out what is most important to the students here at East. Number one, the biggest problem is stress. So we developed our platform to help create an environment that is stress-free for the students here at East. Number two, what we want to do is support the arts. A, we want to have more murals around school by making the application process easier. B, we want to allow students to paint their park spaces however they want. This will tap into East diversity and allow people to use this as an outlet for their cultural backgrounds as well as their creativity and intelligence. And the third, and arguably most important thing that we want to do is create a fun environment for every student at East that will make them say, I'm proud to be an East Chapel Hill Wildcat. Thank you.
Moving on to our first question, what will you do to promote community and school spirit at East?
I think community at East Chapel High School is probably one of the most important things that we actually struggle with a lot. There's a lot of division between the different classes, or also basically what we're interested in. And I think one of the most important things that we can do to mitigate this type of effect that we have on our school is actually just endorsing just about every single club event, every single part of the arts, and every single sports event as much as we can. The more that you show student government is actually pro supporting the arts, pro going out to those soccer games, pro going out to Shikori, or just other school events that are held, that we create a better community that's all for supporting each other. Now, I think the best way to do that is by using student government, again, as one of the biggest ways to advertise these events, but also making sure that student government, people who are in student government actually go out to these events. And so for the past 3 years, I've been out to as many events as I possibly could have. I've been to almost every single chorus concert. I've been out to a lot of sports events, and I've tried to make it to places like Noodle Night and Asian Night as frequently as possible. And I think the best way that we can promote community is by, again, just endorsing these events as frequently as possible and making sure that students are actually engaging more with it. So maybe at student government events to see, how they're doing, we actually go face to face and talk to one another. Thank you.
All right, so let's be honest. A lot of students here at East, they're not interested in taking their own time to go out and go to other events. So what I propose doing is holding more community events at the school during school hours. So we'll have more consistent Wildcat Wednesdays, we'll have events on the hill where people can come together and work together and help build the community here at East. The ways to build community are by doing projects together. So we can host fun things at lunch, we can have food drives, we can have organizations. I would love to have Meals on Wheels come here or something like that where we can put meals together and then deliver that to the community. So as a whole, I think we need to do more working together And we can do that by events here at East during school hours, so you don't have to force people to come on their own time. Thank you.
Describe a time when you had to manage a project a certain way, which may include making unpopular decisions and delegating certain roles.
So through my role as the head leader on youth council in the church, I had to organize the annual Vacation Bible School. So for those of you who don't know, so what that entails is we have to come up with a theme, we have to come up with various projects, and we have to use that to think what is most important for the kids here. So through that, I've had to learn how to manage various groups of people by deciding, all right, so we got the first grade group, you need to work on doing your theme, developing your snacks, arts activities, and stuff like that. So what that has helped me learn is how to manage different groups of people and make sure that they're all working together for one common goal. Thank you.
This question is just oddly relevant to my time in student government. So this year I got to serve as the junior representative of one of the 2 junior representatives for my grade. I also got to take the SGA class, which predominantly for the past, I think as long as it's been around, it's only been a senior class. And so through that class, I've had to make some tough decisions concerning Spirit Week activities or just what we're doing to organize. And I think one of the things that I've always had to prioritize is not just how easy it is to organize, but also what's best for you guys. And one thing that I recognized over the years is that when planning Spirit Week, it's just really hard to try and accommodate more for what the students want. And what I've learned from that is that we need a more direct communication with what the students actually are looking forward to at Spirit Week. You know, sometimes the Spirit Week themes can be kind of lame. I know a lot of people choose not to dress up just because they don't enjoy it or they just don't feel that's kind of school spirit and community that they always want. And so one of the things that I've learned through my time in student government is that you can't, thank you.
If elected, how will you interact with students to know what they want out of student government and student government events?
Alright, so this is kind of what I mentioned a little bit beforehand, but one of the things that I really want to emphasize is communication. The biggest way to understand what the students actually want is something that we failed to do this year, and that we didn't exactly ask around and we did poll the senators once about dance marathon t-shirts, but we never actually went out on the hill and just asked people, how did you feel about that student government event? Or how can we make this event better? And I think one thing that's really important is actually making that face-to-face connection with the student body. And that's something that I think I'm capable of doing, because after every single student government event, I want to see how people are doing. You know, what can we do to improve on it next time? Another thing I want to do is also on the student government website, have an anonymous or an optionally anonymous different little link where people can just submit ideas or just opinions on how they felt about the event, and also post more frequent Twitter and Facebook polls for, what kind of food do you want to see at homecoming, or, what's the next, which one of these next Wildcat Wednesdays ideas would you enjoy the best? And I think that's one of the great ways that not only can we improve communication with the student body, but we can also improve how the job that student government is doing.
All right, so there are 2 things that I want to do to increase communication with the student body. One, I want to utilize the class reps to go out and talk to people, as Eleanor was saying. And the second thing I want to do is create more surveys. So this way, we can have students taking a direct action in what goes on during the school. So the student government would create the surveys, and then students in their English class will be required to fill them out. So that way, students can have their voice be heard, and in an anonymous setting, they can be sure that their voices will not be judged or criticized. Thank you.
I definitely do agree with Connor's ideas, and I think it's super important that we have the class reps utilize a more important role. But I think a problem with always using the English classes is kind of this place where we constantly do student government polls, is that teachers do kind of get annoyed with us by constantly pecking at them. So I think instead of just making it a mandatory thing, instead making it more public about that we're holding different polls and different opinions online, but also just making sure that the student government officers are just out there and actually talking to people is probably the most important thing that we can do, because some people, while face-to-face interactions may be awkward, not everyone has access to the internet.
We have 1,400 people here at East. 2 student reps cannot go out and talk to every single person. It'd be great if they could, but frankly, it's not realistic. And number 2, my campaign team and I sent out a poll to 700 people. How many responses did we get? 150. Sending out stuff and making it optional doesn't work. We need to have people in English classes mandating certain time to fill out the surveys, so that way we can make sure everybody's voice is heard. Thank you.
What makes you most qualified to be student body president, and what can you offer that is unique from the previous administration?
So I'm most qualified to be president for 3 reasons. 1, I know how to work hard and get stuff done. I'm a year-round swimmer who every day doesn't get home to practice till 8 o'clock. Yet I managed to stay in the top 10% in the class with a rigorous course load of 4 APs. If I put my full effort behind something, you can bet it'll get done, and that's what I'll do as your president. Number 2, I have experience in my church with organizing large events. I've organized the annual Vacation Bible School, various service projects such as Durham Rescue Mission, and other projects to help better the youth council. And the 3rd thing is passion. I care about every single student in the student body, and I want to do all that I can to make your year next year the best. Thank you.
I think that I am generally one of the most qualified people for this position because I've been doing this work for 3 years already. When I was a freshman, I was probably just enjoying student government events, and I was just really admiring the amount of work that student government can do. When I was a sophomore, I was taking head of committees in student government. I was helping with the vendors and connecting to businesses for Dance Marathon, arguably one of the biggest events of this year that student government ever holds. And then this year, I got to step up more and actually be in the student government class. I got to make more connections, understand the organization and planning that goes into each student government event, and I just gained this newfound confidence and passion for student government. And then in addition with that, serving as junior rep, I got to take a bigger lead and a bigger role, and I got to recognize, we need more communication with our students. But I think what Connor said too, passion is probably one of the most important things that you can have for this position. And I think for the past 3 years, I've showed that I'm genuinely passionate for this school. Whether it was attending events, making posters for student government, planning Wildcat Wednesdays, and bringing puppies to East. I've been the head of different committees, and I've been out there working with people already, for 3 years already. Thank you.
So yes, Eleanor has been in student government, but what new, fresh ideas has she brought? We need a new face in student government. Let's be honest, they lied to us yesterday telling us today's Spring Fest. I'm not about deceit, I'm about results. I want to bring in good platforms, good ideas. If I was running Spring Fest, people would come because it would be fun, not because they were lied to and forced to stay. Thank you.
So I know that there's a lot of controversy, especially concerning Final Fest. Connor did bring it up. And we do recognize that maybe lying to you guys wasn't the intention. It was more just like a surprise. Congrats on making it to the end of the school year. Thank you so much for working hard, and we want to be able to give you this as an opportunity for the event. Over the past 3 years in student government, well, yes, you don't know how many new ideas that I've brought, but I have recognized where we can improve next year. And I think one of the key things, is, especially with Final Fest and Spring Fest, what we realized yesterday is that people can come to Final Fest and can actually have fun. There were so many people who genuinely enjoyed the event, and well, definitely there were controversies with it, and we definitely recognize that, and we had a serious conversation about that. While there are problems, we always want to recognize them. Thank you.
Final question for today. What is your #1 initiative you would like to implement if elected? How would you?
So the biggest priority that I have for my initiative is actually 2 things. The first thing that I want to do is first of all diversify Eastside and what it covers. So currently for the past couple of years that I've been at Eastside has mainly just been this big kind of group of this friend group who always just goes out to like a couple of football games and a couple of sports games, and that's basically all they do, but they always seem to forget about soccer games or just lacrosse games and don't always work to support that. I also want to not only just expand the role that Eastside has, I also want them to start supporting different art events, such as chorus concerts or a cappella jams, and I think that would be really important to diversify what they do. The second thing I want to do is also implement a club grant system through student government. By humbling ourselves and actually just going out and having a bake sale to raise money for student government, having a car wash and raising money for us, that money can start going towards clubs that actually travel a lot and need money.
Alright, so my #1 initiative here at East is creating a fun environment, an environment where every student can say, I'm proud of being East Chapel Hill Wildcat. One way that I plan on doing that is every morning in 4th period, I want to recognize the outstanding achievements of every individual club and organization here at East. If Science Olympiads wins a regional competition, I'm going to let you guys hear about it. If an art student, if their work is nationally recognized and state recognized, I'm going to make sure you guys know. And one more thing, if the softball team wins their first playoff game in school history, well, you can bet every single person that is going to find out, and they're going to be proud. Because when people hear about the outstanding achievements that their fellow students and their fellow classmates are doing, they're proud. They're proud to be part of that organization, and they're proud to say yes. They go to East, and I'm a Wildcat as well. Thank you.
I think one of the most important things that Connor did bring up is that we need more recognition to the accomplishments that a lot of East students have. And while it's a little impractical to do it every day on announcements because we have a limited amount of time to do those and people get annoyed if they take too long, / not everyone hears them, I think it is generally important that we start recognizing the achievements that our clubs, our sports, and just general people in East have. And one way we can do that is by actually utilizing the bulletin boards that are around school. People always take a peek at them, just see what's up, and if we actually start putting people's things on there, then we can start recognizing them that way.
I, for one, don't look at the bulletin boards, but so Eleanor's idea about diversifying East Side, well, yes, theoretically, that's a good idea. In practice, it's not going to work. The people who join East Side because they have school spirit and they want to join. If you try to force someone to join East Side, first of all, it kills the vibe of the whole group. They're supposed to be here because they want to be and they want to support the school. If you force someone to join who doesn't have school spirit, I mean, it just kills the group. That's not the point. The people who want to be in East Side are already in East Side. Thank you. All right, so once again, everybody, I want to thank you all for coming out. I didn't get a chance to name all my platform ideas, but I'll be posting that later on my Instagram account, and it's also on the student government website. One thing I just want you guys to remember as you go to vote on Monday is who's going to make a difference here at East. Who's going to make an environment that is stress-free, where we have more fun activities, and who's going to make my life as a student better. So keep that in mind on Monday when you vote Connor Sept for president. Thank you.
First of all, I just want to say thanks again for coming out. I know sometimes election season can be a little wacky and not everyone wants to come out and support the debates, but I think it really matters to see this many people in a room who actually do care about student government, and that means you all recognize the role that student government can have in your lives. Now going back to that, I just want to talk again about how much passion I have about student government. You know, some people have passion with different sports like soccer and lacrosse, some people like video games, some people like poetry, but student government is legitimately my passion. There's nothing I would rather do than spend hours upon hours planning big events for you guys or actually reaching out to you guys and talking to you about how we can better the East community. And I think that's what makes me stand out as a candidate. I'm willing to do this work. I've made time to do this work for the past 3 years. And there's nothing that would give me a greater honor than to be your president next year. So when you go out to the polls on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, you know, you may see my June filter, take a Snapchat of that. But I also want you to remember this one thing. Who's been with you for the past 3 years? Who's known the insides and outs of student government for the past 3 years? And who do you think can make your future better? Thank you.